these giants of the world. So, I go hands down. You have to have Merlina to be considered in there somewhere, right? But here my take though. Number one for me, all time, and we can argue it, we can talk about it, but there's no other way I see it. But when we talk about sports icon, we have to talk about the personality, we have to talk about the popularity, we have to talk about the impact, we have to talk about the performance. One person for me embodied most of all of that, and it's Usain Bolt. There's not a country in the world that you can go and nobody don't know this name. I know the Jordans are out there. I know the Cristiano Ronaldos are out there. I know the Messis are out there. But guess what happened? You have a guy who is participating in a sport that is regarded as one of the low-tier sports in terms of popularity. But when he came into the thing was right up there with football, basketball, NFL, you name whatever the top sport, the chess, the tennis, whatever the sport is. He brought it right there. I have not seen another sports icon who would have taken something from the bottom and made it to the top, right? Hence his popularity and his favorability around the world. So when people like Obama have him on one of his on his list as one of the top sports icon that he follows and that kind of a thing. And then when the Americans decided that they want to rate iconic people, and Usain Bolt came out above people like Obama, then I have to start think about that, because them never said them own Michael Jordan, them never said them own, Muhammad Ali. They never said all of these people. They talk about Usain Bolt at that time. So to me, is one of the icons. When I put all of the little elements together, is one of the person. And then the part about it is performance was always world records all the time. When it comes down to championships, you can expect nothing more than 110% performance, right? So I give it to Usain. Cristiano Ronaldo for me, when I look at all of the footballers around the world, and I mean, I love Messi too, would have been my number 2 iconic person, right? He embodied everything that I think about when I think about football. And when I think about sports, I think about competition. I think about never say never. I think about how hard you work to get where you are. And Christian, I understand, Orion, that Ronaldo was pretty much almost the same, but I just think Cristiano Ronaldo impact the world in a bigger sense. I don't know if he was in a time where the internet was exploding and all of that, so he would have get a little bit more than Ronaldo. But at the moment, when I compare both of them together, and both of them very skillful player, them impact the football when they're on the pitch. Their team becomes a team that everybody wants to ensure you need to stop this guy. Cristiano Ronaldo was one of those players that if you stop him, you might beat him team. Right? Ronaldo was one of those too. And I know Pele was one of those too. Right? But I think Cristiano Ronaldo played with a whole lot of excitement, a whole lot of aggression. Him bring the ball to the game, him bring the game to the game, him get the fans out. And I guess that's why when you look at the internet, is one of the most popular search for names in terms of sports icon. He's one of the most, followed person and that kind of a thing. He's that kind of a person. The number 3 for me is Michael Jordan, without a doubt. Basketball would have been basketball today because of Jordan. And it's not that the other players before him wasn't playing, but Michael Jordan brought basketball excitement to a whole new level when he's on the pitch. And as Rudy says, it doesn't matter the injury that he has. He would have signaled to his coach that, hey, listen, we're doing this thing, broken finger, sprained ankle. All of the tribulation that he has gone through, but he would go on the bench, sit down for 5 minutes and come right back whenever his team was under pressure. And clinchers in basketball, I think Michael Jordan is one of the biggest basketball clinchers of a game of all time. I never say a man can close down a game like him You know, I know you have a whole heap of players. Steph Curry is one of those. You know, leave it for the last minute and give him the ball, your team might just lose. Michael Jordan was the epitome of that. And I think when you think about clinchers of game, Michael Jordan would be the person who would start all of them kind of crazy thinking than, you know, clutch and that kind of thing. So Michael Jordan is one of that. I kind of have a toss up between for the fourth for cricket, right? And India's what's his name again? Kind of just lose his name, but
Sachin Tendulkar.
Lara Tendulkar. Tendulkar is the player.
Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah, man. Tendulkar is the player that it's hard to get him wicket at all times. If you want runs to be scored, he's going to give you runs on the board. Crazy. And he has the same flashy style. And that's why between him and Lara, I always, you know, I don't know. I like watching both of them play. Them play with such style and ease of the game of cricket. Them know the game. And in the field as well, them work in the field. Them can catch. Them can, you know, run in between the field. Them very overall and they're very good. And they can bowl a good spin too, right? But in terms of the batting, both of these iconic persons are my two that I would leave in the fourth place for and in the sport of cricket. I know what a lot of the young guys are doing, but in terms of just when Tendulkar or Lara playing, you have to go watch the game. You have to go watch the game. You can't sit down on the sideline or watch it on TV. You want to go out there, go experience it for yourself. You know, so when they come to Sabina Park, I was always wanting to be there to just to sit at, you know, and to meet them. And I got the opportunity to meet him, to both of them, and that was great. I watched Chris Gayle as well, but Chris Gayle wasn't, I mean, him score a lot of runs, but Chris Gayle wasn't the kind of cricketer in terms of batting, style, and class, and all that kind of a thing for me, right? So Chris make a lot of runs, but in terms of just sit down and watch real batting and something that youngsters can learn from, you have to look at the Tendulkars and the Laras of the world. Those are mine. You know, I never get to see the great Clive Lloyds and all of them people and all of them, you know, great batsmen. But, and even when I look at videos and things and compare them to Tendulkar and Lara, them two still stand out a whole lot, right? And last but not least, for me, Tiger Woods with golf, and especially as a black entering a sport that was always dominated by whites. Tiger Woods raised the level and now raised the entry of other nations getting into the sport of golf. Now, when we look at it, the sport of golf have so much. And it's not that black people wasn't playing, but black people now feel like they can be in the top 10, in the top 20, in the top 30, even in the top 100, right? And when he burst into that, I can remember I watched that entire Masters tournament almost for the entire amount of days that it played for. Nobody in this world could have leave them TV when it was on, whether it was a golf person who I was fan, yes or no. It come like when they had this case with O.J. Simpson, that nobody left the TV. It was the same thing with that Masters tournament for Tiger Woods. Those kind of icons and those kind of impact tell me something about these people are legend in their own right. You understand? And I watch these things. I literally couldn't. I have work, but I had to watch Tiger Woods play. The thing was just so, and the fact that he was a black person and he was dominating the thing that day. And then after that, it's not like it was a fluke. After that, Tiger Woods keep winning and winning and winning and winning for years after that. And, you know, and bring the sport to another level too, right? So those are my top 5. There are some other great legends in the thing, but those are my people that every time I would even go to YouTube and rewatch some of their things. You know, Muhammad Ali is one of those boxers that was beyond this time. You understand? And it's somebody that you'd always watch for boxing. I mean, Tyson, I love watch Mike Tyson. No doubt.
I mean, you mentioned those cricket players. It make me think about in the time they were playing with those type of bowlers, then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bowlers today they
Chase.
soft. Like if those guys in them play, if Lara and them was in the prime today, them guys scoring 1,000 points.
No, man. No,
They
no,
they hitting 1,000 runs because the bowlers today was not like the Ambrose. I mean,
no,
I've seen Ambrose hurt some people. I've seen,
Yeah,
no, no.
you
No,
know
man,
what I'm
was
that's
not
the
saying?
like
top
Wasim
five,
And,
man.
Akram. Was not.
but that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying, right?
those bowlers was crazy and
Those
fast
bowlers
that
was
time, man.
ridiculous and
They were
still big
tall
guys.
and big
And,
guys.
I'm talking about guys who coming from Australia, from England, from New Zealand. We are not
Yeah.
talking about those guys today. Those guys
No,
today cannot bowl like those guys
no,
in them then. And
no
that's where
way,
my
man.
disappointment always come in on. I always talk about the West Indies. That's where they fail by
Yeah,
not keeping these guys in them on to be mentors.
yeah.
That's where I think they fail. I think they brought them in too late. And that way, I always say that I think where West Indies fail. And you look at Michael Jordan. If Michael Jordan playing today, he's going to 100 points a game with that
Still,
kind of mindset of this kind of just the way the
yeah,
game is today. Shaq and those guys and them is scoring like nobody will stop them
yeah,
because the game today is so soft compared to then. Football, same thing. In the days of Maradona and those, football was football. Today, football is soft. You know
tough.
what I'm saying? It's not the same. You know what I'm watching now where they, I like the idea where some, depends on the league, you get 5 subs. I like that because
Yeah,
give players more time to play. I think that's very important. You know what I mean? But man, come on, man. They just soft today. You don't see those type of things. And
yeah,
so certainly, and the same thing with both. I mean, yes, when you talk about, I did not pick both for a specific reason, but when you speak of that aspect of both, certainly there is no doubt
yeah,
about him being your number one because what Bolt have done for the track and field and what he have done for track and field in the Caribbean
mm-hmm.
change a lot for us and for the young people because his name is still being called today.
Yeah,
You don't hear of those guys in anymore names being called, but
yeah,
you hear both name calling still. You
yeah,
don't really hear of Michael Jordan unless they want to compare him and who is the greatest. That's the only time you
yeah,
really hear his name. But when track and field starts, you hear both name. It's not
yeah,
only you hear it, sometimes you hear it in your own hand.
yeah,
You just watch it, it's like, okay, bolt is up. Like you just hearing it and try to see that, right? So
yeah.
certainly,
Rudy,
certainly,
I
man.
see Orion want to chime in because Orion really, Orion used to love the sport of cricket, but for some reason or the other, Orion used to play the thing too, right? Orion couldn't miss a game, but I don't know for some reason Orion what's going on with the thing.
Well, the thing is, yeah, obviously, I think cricket in the Caribbean, even in Jamaica, is dead,
Yeah,
and there needs to be some grassroots work to be done on that. And I don't think the powers that be they have put those things in place to really progress the game. If
yeah,
you look what they have done in recent times is that they've taken the money and given the money to a select set of people instead
mm,
of putting it in a grassroots program. They're
Yep,
giving it to people
yep.
who play first class cricket with a limited amount of people in hopes that those people would matriculate to the West Indies and be great. But you need a larger pool. And until they look to reinvest some of that money from the WICB into grassroots cricket in each territory, we'll continue to suffer,
mm,
man. There's nobody playing
yeah,
cricket in Jamaica, like on the
And
level that would
especially,
like. So
but
yeah,
what gets what also gets me too, knowing that now cricket is an Olympic sport, at least for the next Olympic Games, we should see every country have a national team that's playing each other. We should see a Caribbean series. And in the end there is a trophy. They should have a Caribbean series right now. You understand what I mean?
yeah,
And which would make cricket so big in your country,
yeah,
in those countries. You don't see that anymore. Like you
well,
said, cricket
yeah,
is
well,
dead.
yeah. I think that for the shorter format of the game, I think there's some things being worked on in regards to that.
mm,
Um, but But when we think about cricket, we still think West Indies, and
Yep.
and from that standpoint, in terms of who we grew up on it, and based on how the world is, there probably will be some changes
yeah.
later to
It has
that
to
in
be.
regards to country
It has to be.
representation.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think everybody's looking forward to the Olympics. and cricket being a part of it, which we think is a huge thing.
Mm.
I know at one point it was a part of the Commonwealth Games. So yeah, it's
Yes,
a huge
yes, it
initiative.
was.
So
Yeah.
let's
But
see if that can drive some momentum in the regions
well, let's hope.
in regards to the
Listen,
play
we
of the game.
seen
Let's big up.
listen, we
Hey,
seen
listen, we're gonna talk about the cricket situation there another day still. So anyway, so Orion top five, top your top your number one
Yeah,
sports icon is who again? Michael.
you you want my top you want my top five
No
again?
man, your number one. I
Yeah.
want your
So
number
my
one
top
again.
five is Brian Lara, two Ronaldo Brazil.
Yeah,
Oh, Brian Lara,
Brian Lowry number one. Rudy, are you
yeah,
number one?
Michael
Brian
Jordan.
Michael
Charles
Jordan.
Lara.
Yeah,
Okay, and Rudy,
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Usain Bolt. Hey, Sportsglobe fans, sports fans, tell me what you think. My number one, Usain
And then for
Bolt,
you, Rich,
all
is
time,
Usain Bolt.
Yeah,
all time, all
all time.
time. Hands down. Tell who wanna think. If you wanna think Rudy right, Orion right, I wanna think say boy, my love for Usain Bolt is the thing. Hey, listen, guys, thanks so much for joining. But I want to come back again because we have some other ones to talk about. Because I want to talk about sports
Yes.
icon in a particular way too, right? And how these sports icon. I'm going to come back to because I want to know
Yeah.
how your sports icon has been im- impacting the sports
Impact
and
the
how it has
sport.
grown that sport.
Yep.
So maybe we can do
Yep.
a little research on that so we can make the people them know and we can hear from them to see what them is. Of course, this is Sports Globe. We want you to also comment, share, like, and always just chime in at all times. Maybe one day we'll try and go live. Who knows? So Sports Globe, we're here for all the sports fan. And as sports fan, this is what we like. And that's it. Guys, thanks so much again for joining us today. And I really do appreciate it.